tougher sentences for all drivers who are involved in fatal crashes. After lobbying the Home Office for the past 6 months to agree to tougher prison sentences for drink drivers who kill, last Thursday the MP for Enfield Southgate learned that his intervention had paid off. Mr Burrows admitted that he was delighted that the law had been toughened up. The government has now plugged a gap in prosecutions of road crash fatalities, where drink drivers could avoid a long prison sentence because careless driving had not been proved separately. It is now at long last clear that any driver who kills someone while drunk or under the influence of drugs will face up to 15 years in prison. He added, "What this add-on to the law means is that the courts are now forced to take the offence of drink driving very seriously. Also, these are laws for drink and drug driving, and they must be accompanied by the technology to make sure that people are punished according to their offence. Therefore, traffic police will be equipped with drug testing kits as well, which mean far fewer people will be able to slip through the net."
Dressed up to the nines in their sequins and dancing shoes, ballroom hopefuls performed with passion in aid of North London Hospice. Cheered on by a 320-strong crowd, 11 couples graced the stage in the dancing Strictly finales at Millfield Theatre on Saturday. For 7 weeks, the competitors were put through their paces by professional instructors before performing in front of a panel of judges. But at the end of the night, it was contestants Tom McClory, 42, and Thelia Farrago, 54, who topped the leaders' board with their fast-paced cha-cha-cha. Tom and Thelia were crowned king and queen of the dance floor, taking away their very own glitter ball trophy. Praising the pair's winning performance, Judge Rob Orsi said, "You have a very good presence on the floor. I thought it was fantastic." Tom said, "I'm over the moon. It's an amazing feeling. We'd put in a lot of work practicing all the time, so it's really satisfying to have won." As well as mastering their moves, each dancing couple had to raise at least £500 for the hospice, which supports people with life-limiting illnesses. Thelia from Palmer's Green said, "We've raised £1,900, which is really great." Pardon me. My parents died when I was in my 20s. It was a really difficult time, but a hospice helped me through my bereavement. I understand firsthand the work a hospice does, so I'm so happy we could raise this much money to help them. The evening, sponsored by the Enfield Independent and Times series, helped raise £15,233 for the North London Hospice, NLH. Thanking the competitors and dance instructors for helping make the event such a success, Georgina McLaughlin, community fundraiser for NLH, said, "I'm extremely proud of our dancers. I've seen their confidence grow and thank them for the dedication they've shown to raising so much needed funds for North London Hospice. All money raised from this event will go directly to funding the specialist care we provide."
A musician from Enfield plans to release an album to mark the 150th anniversary of the London Underground this year. Vincent Sheehan, a 35-year-old music teacher at Churchfield Primary School in Latimer Road, Edmonton, has been making music for 20 years. And he's halfway through his album, which is all about the Victoria Line. "I've used the tube for a long time, and despite the drudgery of commuting, have always had a fascination for it," he said. With the album's release coinciding with the 150th anniversary of the London Underground, Mr. Sheehan has been releasing a song for each stop on the Victoria Line via internet music hub SoundCloud. Although people have often written songs about tube stations, I don't think anybody has written an album for a complete line, he told the advertiser. Mr. Sheehan says that if his Victoria Line album is a success, he hopes to create albums for the other lines. If this happens, people can create a journey playlist travelling the whole of the London Underground, he added. His latest track, based on King's Cross, is influenced by the history of the station, which was named after a monument to King George IV, which was demolished in the 19th century. And his quirky, funny and interesting style has been applauded in comments from internet listeners. Mr. Sheehan uses the station's name location and any people associated with the area as starting points for the songs, which are loosely pop rock. He plays all the instruments for each track, including violin, piano and guitar. He hopes to complete his album by August.
It was all smiles for a girl guide who received an award for her enthusiasm. Georgina Edwards-Green, 11, who is a member of the Edmonton division of the Guides, received a Jack Petchey Award on Wednesday during a ceremony in North Finchley for 49 hard-working girl guides. Jack Petchey Foundation coordinator Iris Prince said, "Georgina is sensible and mature and has helped her new members. She has attended national events and an indoor residential course. Her group finds her fun, reliable and enthusiastic." Georgina received a framed certificate and a £200 cheque, which will be spent on a first aid course for her guide unit. Established by East End businessman and philanthropist Jack Petchey, whose foundation aims to give opportunities to young people in London, the awards celebrate 11 to 25-year-olds who have shown dedication to a good cause.
A widow has paid an emotional tribute to the popular man she adored. Dennis Pearson, 90, died in Chase Farm Hospital in the Ridgeway after battling pneumonia and a heart bypass. Friends and family poured into New Southgate Crematorium and Cemetery last week to pay their respects to Mr. Pearson, who had been a member of a Bush Hill Park Golf Club for 30 years. His devoted wife of 60 years, 83-year-old Maya Pearson, said she adored her husband and hopes he will be remembered for being a sociable man who was the life and soul at parties. The couple, who had a 53-year-old daughter together, came originally from Wales, but moved to Enfield 44 years ago for Mr. Pearson's work commitments as an engineer. However, Mrs. Pearson, who lives in Maplin Close in Grange Park, said it was not love at first sight when she met her husband at Hounslow Cricket and Sport Club when she was 23 years old. She said, "He was being chased by a lot of women who wanted to get married, and I was being chased by fellows wanting to get married, but neither of us wanted to tie the knot then. He asked me to dance and then said, 'Thank God that's over,' and I thought, that's a good start. We were engaged 6 months later and never looked back. I don't know what I'm going to do without him." She said she is thankful they had 60 wonderful years together and wanted to thank staff at Chase Farm Hospital for taking such good care of her husband in the days before his death.
A primary school caretaker who was charged with sexually abusing girls aged 7 and 9 has been granted bail. John Lyon, who has been suspended from his post at St Andrew's Church of England Primary School in Churchbury Lane, did not speak during a 5-minute hearing at Wood Green Crown Court. Lyon, 39, who was dressed in jeans, a navy blue T-shirt and a hooded jacket, was told by Judge Morrison at the court in Lordship Lane that he faces a prison sentence if he breaches his bail by coming within 200 metres of the school. The former school worker faces 3 counts of sexual assault, including 2 against minors under the age of 13 and 1 common assault charge. The alleged abuse on the 30th of July last year does not relate to any pupils from St Andrews. Lyon appeared at Highbury Corner Magistrates Court on January the 29th, where he was given the same bail conditions. He will reappear at Wood Green Crown Court on March the 20th.
A couple were overjoyed last month when they learned that the death of their beloved pet had not been in vain. Edwina and Dave Osborne, both 37, were left devastated by the death of 11-year-old Zippy in February last year. Edwina decided some good should come from their sorrow, and she agreed to donate some of Zippy's bones to help injured cats. The bones are used for grafts for animals which have broken limbs, while soft tissue such as tendons is usually used to help dogs with leg injuries. After signing up to a veterinary tissue bank, the couple from Ponders End were shocked to find the donation had saved the lives of 40 other cats. Explaining why she made the decision last year, Edwina told the Advertiser, "It's really just something I believe in morally. Even today on the news they were talking about how many people were waiting for an organ transplant, and although this isn't a case of human organ donation, the same principles apply. I'm relatively religious, and while it's nice to think about what the process is, at the end of this day, the animal's dead. He didn't need his body anymore. Edwina, who also owns a dog and 2 other cats, admitted she was proud of the difference that Zippy had made. When the charity phoned me, we were both amazed, she said. It really does make me happy to think of those 40 cats that we have saved. They might have been put to sleep otherwise. Edwina now wants to encourage other pet owners to think about signing up to the veterinary tissue bank. She added, while it was a relatively easy decision for me to sign up Zippy as a donor, others might be less sure, particularly at a traumatic time when you have to make the heart-wrenching decision whether to put your beloved pet to sleep. The more knowledge and awareness pet owners have in advance about the groundbreaking surgery and benefits of the veterinary tissue bank, the better. For more information about becoming a donor, contact the veterinary tissue bank on 01691 778 769.
Staff who between them have served more than 400 years at the NHS have been rewarded for their dedication. People working for the Barnet, Enfield and Haringey Mental Health Trust received long service awards from the Mayor of Enfield, Councillor Kate Onolu, and the Trust Chairman Michael Fox. Awards were presented to staff who had dedicated 30 years or more to the NHS during a ceremony at Chase Farm Hospital in the Ridgeway. NHS workers who had gone above and beyond the call of duty were also presented with Going the Extra Mile awards.
One man and his faithful dog are embarking on a final fundraising push to raise money ahead of an epic desert trek next month. Glenn Daniels from Enfield is partially sighted and has been in intensive training since last year to prepare himself for a 103-kilometre challenge over 5 days through the blistering heat and punishing terrain of the Sahara. The 32-year-old is raising money for charity Guide Dogs for the Blind. Glenn, who is an osteopath and sports masseur, became a proud owner of a guide dog just before Christmas, and it was during the application process that he decided to take on the epic fundraising bid after realising the dog he so desperately needed cost £50,000 to train from a puppy to a fully fledged guide dog, money which the charity had to raise itself. Glenn has raised £6,200, and with one fundraising event to go, he is determined to hit £10,000 before flying off to North Africa. Detailing his punishing training regime, Glenn told the advertiser, I train around 4 times a week, and we do quite a mix of things. I go running, of course I do long walks, and I also have an indoor cycling machine. I need all the preparation I can get because on average I will be walking 25 kilometres a day for 5 days for between 6 and 8 hours every day. Glenn's final fundraiser is taking part on March the 2nd with a charity dinner and auction at Enfield Golf Club in Old Park Road, Enfield. The event, which starts at 7 p.m, is being sponsored by Vic Smith Beds. And now that Glenn has his very own fully trained up guide dog, Sonny, who has become like another member of the family, the father of 3 is determined to help as many people like him benefit as possible. Now, with Sonny, I can walk back from work on my own. My wife doesn't have to give me lifts to places. It is really a new lease of life. To buy tickets for the fundraising dinner, email guidedogsball@gmail.com or contact Glenn via www.facebook.com/guided site.
We've now reached the end of side 1 of this tape. Please stop your machine now, take out the cassette, turn it over, and start side 2.